So when Willie O'Ree debuted in the NHL in the original six era as the first black Canadian to play the association, it took more than a decade for another black Canadian to make the show. And in 1974-75, the Washington Capitals decided to draft a black player to break that barrier a second time, but unforeseen was a hero of the Nova Scotia hockey system. Also played that year for Washington. Very, very popular player and also black. So today we're talking about the dual connecting lives of Mike Marson and Billy Riley. Now, Mike Marson, for a lot of people, were considered one of the bright lights of the Capitals' first season in 74-75. You only won a handful of games. Now, the native of Scarborough, not the biggest drink of water, 5'9", 200, was drafted 19 overall in the second round by the Capitals. Again, officially the second black Canadian to play in the NHL, as Billy Riley only played one game that year for Washington. Now, as a youth, Marson played at the '68 Quebec International Pee Wee Hockey Tournament with a squad from Wexford, Ontario. During the '74 OHA season, he was named the second team All-Star and led the Sudbury Wolves with 94 points at the age of 19. Now, here where the controversy came in, it has nothing to do with his color. He was drafted as the first pick in the second round, 19 overall, by the Capitals. He was underage at the time and signed a 5-year deal, and again became the second black Canadian playing the NHL again following the great Willie O'Ree. He was available in the '74 NHL amateur draft because of the league's decision to allow drafting of underage players that year. So Joly was taken in first overall, and Marson was the number 2, or pretty well a first rounder. Now, his first NHL game was also the first game in Washington Capitals franchise history, played on October 9th, '74. He recorded his best NHL season as a rookie, where he scored 16 goals with 12 assists and 28 points in 76 games. Now, Marson claims to have encountered discrimination early in the first season, as recalled having a racial slurs the N-word and Sambo yelled at him during his first game at Maple Leaf Gardens against the Maple Leafs. Now, his teammates expressed how the slurs and taunts adversely impacted Marson. There were racial slurs that were fired to be quick to react. According to teammate Ron Lalonde, he had a short fuse. The next thing you knew, he got involved in something. It was hard for him to work in his game, and he could skate. He was one of the best skaters in the league, but he spent so much energy having to defend himself, he lost focus. Allegedly, he was also the target of numerous death threats. Now, Marson's biggest problem was his weight and also the bottle as he struggled with both during his career. In all, Marson played 196 games in the NHL, 193 with Washington and 3 with LA after he found himself traded. He totaled 48 points on 24 goals and 24 assists and 233 minutes and penalties. Now, during his career in the AHL, he played for the Baltimore Clippers, Springfield Indians, Hershey Bears, Philadelphia Firebirds, and Binghamton Dusters. Now, he did attend University of Maryland College during his playing days in Washington. Now, age 17, while playing junior hockey in Sudbury, he suffered the loss of his mother, who died unexpectedly of a brain aneurysm. Nearly 4 years later, he was dealt another personal tragedy when his younger brother passed suddenly at the age of 20. Now, practitioner of the martial arts, when his hockey playing career ended in 1980, he studied martial arts. He became a 7th-degree black belt in the Japanese style of Shotokan, attaining the status of Master Shihan. Marson has developed an off-ice martial arts training program for hockey players designed to improve timing, focus, and confidence. And I guess former NHL player Rick Nash was a student in the program because, he had quite a bit of moves. Now, he came to training camp in '74, 22 pounds overweight, but did eventually score a hat trick for Washington in the preseason game for the University of Detroit in Ann Arbor that year. Now, the big problem that first season was he suffered a concussion in a collision with Blues Garnet Ace Bailey, a future Capital, during Washington's December 7, '74 game in St. Louis. Now, again, he developed and marketed this self-help technique. It was called Marzendo, which is, ties into his last name. Now he has made himself available as a public speaker, willing to discuss the history of minorities in hockey and other pro sports. He's also the older brother of former college hockey player Larry Marson. Now, Washington traded Marson to LA in exchange for Steve Clippendale on June 11, 1979, which ended that experiment. It wasn't that he was a bad player, just the fact was Washington was struggling a lot. I'll give you this. He played 76 games with Washington, 75. He was minus 65 with 59 minutes of penalties. So Washington's second season, 11 points, 57 games, 77, 1 assist in 10 contests, 78, 8 points in 46 games, and he scored good numbers with Springfield in 77, the AHL with 32 points. He played his last season in Washington in 78 with 4 goals, 4 assists for 8 points. And of course, had a few more games with Washington in 79 before the trade. Now, he also played with the Dundas Merchants of the OHA Senior League for a little while. Now, Bill Riley's path to the NHL a lot different than Marson because he was considered a top undrafted prospect long before he made the NHL. Now, he did play the majority in the minor leagues, but he's a Nova Scotia Hockey Hall of Fame career. He's probably one of the most recognized maritime hockey players of the 1970s. Very personable and a very, very athletic and dedicated person. But his road to the NHL was quite interesting. His mother supported the family by working as a cleaning lady, while his father earned the minimum wage of $1.25 per hour. With limited finances, they made the necessary sacrifices to outfit their son with the required equipment to play hockey starting in Pee Wee. He stuck with the game in spite of the absence of many black role models in the sport. Now, the native of Amherst played 2 seasons with the hometown Ramblers, a team he would go on to coach many years later, but he held no aspirations of pursuing hockey as a big league career. Now, in 1973, while working in a factory and playing senior hockey with the Kitimat Eagles senior team in the Pacific Northwest Hockey League in BC, Riley was discovered after putting up 260 points in 80 games across 2 seasons. Future NHL coach Tom McPhee was in the process of fortifying his lineup for the Dayton Gems of the IHL. He discovered Riley in Kitimat and invited him in for a tryout. Riley accepted and made a club in 74. Now, a very rugged right winger, 5'11", 195, and this is how the story goes, how he got there. He was given a tryout with the Capitals during the inaugural season in 75 and played 1 game, but he spent most of his time in the minors, again, with the Gems, which were affiliate of the Capitals. It was during this time he was reunited with and played under future Capitals coach McPhee. He would eventually be signed as a free agent by the Capitals during the 77 season and played for them in parts of the next 3 campaigns. Now, when he was claimed by the Jets in the 79 NHL expansion draft, he only played in 14 games, but much to the delight of Maritimers, he was sent to the minors, where he played with the New Brunswick Hawks, Moncton Alpines, and the Nova Scotia Voyageurs, and his legend built. He retired again following the 84 season. Now, he eventually became a player, coach, and captain of the St. John Capitals of the Newfoundland Senior Hockey League for 3 campaigns during the late 80s. Now, after retiring from professional play, he returned to coach in 89-90 when he landed a head coaching position with the Amherst Ramblers of the Maritime Junior A Hockey League. Now, that association I've been lucky enough to cover on and off for over 20 years. Later, he was a head coach, GM, and director of player and personnel of the Miramichi Timberwolves of the Maritime Junior A Hockey League. He also served as head coach of the AAA Junior Moncton Wildcats during the 97 season, finishing 16-52-2. Now, Riley was teammates with Dave Feemster, and according to one legend, he once poached a deer to provide meat for Riley and his family. Now, Riley's son, unfortunately, Billy Jr., was killed in a motor vehicle accident in 2011 in Moncton at age 35. Now, in 2017, he made national headlines for something quite interesting. After seeing a segment on Hockey Night in Canada about Toronto Maple Leafs legend Bill Barilko, Riley sent his daughter Tracy, who lived in Timmins, to recite Barilko's grave to help clean the Toronto legend's tombstone. Now, the big question was, why didn't Billy Riley ever play with the Toronto Maple Leafs, who would have been a perfect fit, but didn't go? So he won the Calder Cup in '82 as a player with that famous New Brunswick Hawks squad, where he put up 32 goals in the regular season. He won the Callahan Cup as a coach in 1990, member of the Nova Scotia Sports Hall of Fame in '98, and of course his number 8 was retired by the Amherst Ramblers in 2013. Well deserved. Now, again, these numbers with the Ramblers were tremendous. He had 126 points with them over 2 seasons in the late 60s, early 70s. He also played with the Amherst Square M's of the Association 71. Now, the Kitimat Eagles over 3 seasons, he had 216 points in 80 games, 132 goals in the 73 and 74 campaigns combined. With Washington 75, he played 1 contest, and then 12 goals in Dayton that year, but then 35 the next year. A full season in Washington 77, 13 goals, 14 assists for 27 points with 124 minutes in the sin bin. Wasn't scared to drop the gloves or take care of his teammates. He also had 34 points in 30 games for Dayton that year, including 19 counters. 78, another big season with Washington, 25 points in 57 games, 125 minutes in penalties. 79, split time between Washington and the Bears in Hershey, 17 goals total in 75 contests, 2 with the big club. Now, Winnipeg in 1980, again, split time between Nova Scotia and the Jets. And Nova Scotia had 31 goals in 63 games, and with the Jets, 5 points in 14 contests. Now, New Brunswick Hawks became larger than life to his fans in the Maritimes. He had 46 games with New Brunswick with 12 goals, but the next season in the Calder Cup chase, he had 40 total counters in 95 games, including the playoffs, and 78 total points. Moncton Alpines in 83 hit the 30-goal mark again, 34 minutes and penalties. Back with the Voyageurs in 84, 24 goals and 24 assists in 78 contests. 87, 88, 89 played with the St. John Capitals, average pretty well 25 to 40 goals a season, and some dynamite numbers. But what really stands out for me, ladies and gentlemen, and some people may find confused about this, I think he should be in the New Brunswick Sports Hall of Fame, and I tell you why. Those years in New Brunswick and for New Brunswick Hawks and Moncton, and what he's done for hockey in New Brunswick, he should be recognized because Nova Scotia, he did quite a bit, but Amherst being so close to New Brunswick, he had a big influence on minority hockey players for a number of years. So final AHL totals, 147 goals, 157 assists, 304 points, 47 playoff contests, 14 goals, 16 assists for 30 points. NHL totals, 31 goals, 30 assists, 61 points. So what was nice, ladies and gentlemen, back in the day, Washington would come into Montreal or Toronto, and we knew Marson would be playing or Riley, and there was a lot of big fans of both of them at the time because being teammates. And we didn't see them as a black club. We saw them as a breakthrough. A lot of black players were at home, and Aboriginal players looking at that saying, if Mike Marson can make it and Billy Riley can make it. But it was nice to see their skill. But Billy Riley, there's a certain style with the Nova Scotia style players, like from Amherst, especially the black and Aboriginal players. They're very rugged, and like I said, it's hard to explain. Senior hockey played at the NHL level like Bill Riley did. He played like a senior hockey player. He could score, he could set up, he could fight. And the Gordie Howe, what they call hat trick, was very common. But you look at these numbers, ladies and gentlemen, let's just rough numbers between 75 and 1983, his key years. This is minutes and penalties. 279, 301, 124, 193. 79, he had 192, 164, 107, 104, 134. Then 79, he got quiet in the AHL. But like I said, Aiken Center, he helped build that rink, and the fans came out. Nova Scotia, Halifax Center. It was a great time, ladies and gentlemen, because you had teams from Moncton, Frankton, Halifax, all over the place, Frankton Express. It was a great time for hockey in New Brunswick, and Billy Riley helped pro hockey in New Brunswick to a level that I don't think has been seen since, because he was literally the number one for Maritimers. You went to see a game because Billy Riley was playing. He used to hang out with some of my fellow students at NBCC Woodstock, and if all the stories are true, I can't even repeat them. So he was a party guy. Let's say that. So that's the story of the legends of the Washington Capitals breakthrough, color breakthrough of '75. Mike Marson and Bill Riley. If you like what they're doing here with our tribute podcast, to black athletes from across North America. Let us know when to like, comment, subscribe, or share. Bye.